We will now proceed with the questions from our panelists. I would like to invite Jiun to pose the first question to the MCA President. Jiun, editor of Rocket Kini.
Thank you. Datuk Seri, adakah MCA di dalam Barisan Nasional begitu takut dan tidak berani dengan UMNO sehingga kan isu-isu penyelewengan, salah guna kuasa dan sebagainya tidak berani ditegur sama sekali? Ataupun adakah wujud dalam Barisan Nasional konsep equal partner, atau ia hanya satu lesen, satu Malaysia untuk membenarkan budaya samseng yang sedang berlaku sejak akhir-akhir ini, termasuk percubaan menyerang Ketua Menteri Pertahanan?
Terima kasih. First, I take objection to the question. To say MCA takut dengan UMNO, that is not a fair question. If I say, and I've already said, if the state cabinet, state ESCO, and the federal cabinet, all the discussion are all taped, that government should declassify this state. And when they classify this state, then they understand better the role of MCA in a multiracial country. Let's take, for example, why is DAP so quiet about Anwar's alleged 20 account with 3 billion? And this is not an allegation. This is from a statutory declaration, which the fellow can go to jail, you know. And why is a political secretary with 2004 has 30 million in assets and DAP is keeping quiet? We say, where got meaning? What else do you ask? That's about all. This is equal partnership. Let me tell you.
Order, please.
Let me tell you, Pakatan Rakyat says equal partnership. Agree? But until today, PAS have never openly endorsed Anwar as the Prime Minister. You can't even agree on a party common symbol and a common logo and to register your party.
1 more minute left, President.
You can't even tell us your shadow cabinet. Where is the Pakatan? What is so difficult to tell us your shadow cabinet? What is so difficult to register your logo and your symbol? Or is that equal partnership? Is that equal partnership? When you want to answer, you can also draw on comparison so that you can understand better. And they say, shame on you because you started Keita. Is the Chief Minister suggesting that all the people who donated and supported Keita, shame to them, according to the Chief Minister of Finance? So multiracial, so many years in this country.
Mr. President, your time is up.
Why no Indian state chairman? Why not the Indian state chairman in DAP?
Ladies and gentlemen, order please. I must remind the panelists, the two debaters, that you are limited to 3 minutes for your reply. 3 minutes for your reply. At the end of the second minute, just 1 more minute left, I will give you a reminder, and at the end of the 3 minutes, you have to stop. May I now invite Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Chua to pose the question to the Chief Minister of Penang.
Mr. Chief Minister, now when we talk about policies of DAP, definitely it includes policy of Pakatan. And I've read your buku jingle, cover to cover, where it is stated, among other things, that if PAS, Keadilan and DAP now wins the next general election and forms a central government, you are going to, inter alia, abolish all the road tolls, abolish PTPTN, you also wish to give household income with income less than 4,000 to make up to 4,000 a month, and also a host of other goodies which will run into more than ringgit Malaysian 200 billion. Now, I just like to pose this question to the Chief Minister. How are you going to implement the above mentioned policies, taking into consideration that Malaysia's annual income or revenue does not exceed 200 million? And savings from leakages and corruption, I've cross-checked, can yield a savings of 26 billion. So you don't need a rocket scientist to tell us that it is a physical impossibility unless Malaysia continues to generate more income, that is another 100 million or so. Maybe you can tell us how you want to generate that, or is it just a simplistic ploy to get to get votes from the rakyat? And another thing is, just now you have not answered the question from the MCA president, that what happens to all the collections you have collected all these years from the public? Are you going to use this? Are you going to use this to fund the shortfall in the event that you come to Parliament and you want to fulfill all these promises? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yaboma Chua Chi-Hyong, the Minister for Housing. First, I would like to say that this is the first time I hear from a minister admitting that corruption cost us 26 billion. The question is, what are you doing about it? Are you accepting the fact? Are you accepting the fact that BN permits corruption? That's why I say this. Shame on you again. You talk about collections from the public. DAP, unlike Barisan National, when we organize dinners, we don't give free dinners like MCA or UMNO. We charge for the dinner 20 ringgit, 30 ringgit. Because we depend on public funds to survive. We don't steal the government's money. That is the difference between Barisan National and Pakatan Rakyat. That is the difference between DAP and MCA. You mentioned just now about the buku jingga. I think you got to read the right buku jingga. You must have read the wrong one now. When we talk about abolishing tolls, we have given an estimate of around 35 billion. If you don't believe this can be done, vote us into power and we'll show you how it is done. When we gave money, bila kita bagi wang sama warga emas, kita bagi wang sama ibu bapa dan rakyat, orang cakap, oh tak boleh, kerajaan negeri akan bankrupt. Kerana kalau bagi wang macam ini, habis. Kerana dulu tak pernah bagi. Tetapi kita telah buktikan, seumpama pun kita bagi wang 90 juta ringgit sehingga sekarang, kerajaan negeri tak bankrupt. Sebaliknya, kerajaan negeri punya bajet lagi lama lagi kuat. Dan bila saya cakap bahawa kita memang bersih, ini bukan saya cakap, ini dicakap oleh Transparency International. Puji sama kerajaan negeri Pulau Pinang. Pernahkah Malaysia dipuji oleh Transparency International? Tak pernah. Dan sekali lagi, janganlah buat fitnah. Ini tak bagus. Kalau cakap ada fitnah tentang Anwar, mengapa dia tak didakwa di mahkamah? SPRM dikuasai oleh Barisan Nasional. Sekali lagi, saya ingin tegaskan, dasar-dasar yang kita nak buat untuk rakyat adalah demi rakyat. Kita telah kira, kita memang mampu untuk memperkayakan rakyat Malaysia. Undi Pakatan Rakyat, pasti hidup lebih senang.
Thank you, Chief Minister. I would now like to invite our independent panelist, Professor James Jiun, who will ask one question to be answered by both the debaters, the President of the MCA and the DAP Secretary General. Professor Jiun.
Thank you very much, Moderator. The new economic policy is the most important public policy in Malaysia's political history. It impacts on every facet of life in Malaysia. Since 1971, the Chinese community and the wider non-Malay community has felt that the NEP has restricted their opportunities, especially in the area of business and education opportunities. Can both of you tell us, the general public, how your side will deal with this issue and how will you deal with the NEP and its successor policies? Please be specific. Thank you.
The new dasar ekonomi baru, tidak ada seorang pun yang akan menentang dasar ekonomi baru yang mau menghapuskan kemiskinan dan juga memastikan keadilan dari segi pengagihan sosioekonomi. Dari aspek membasmi kemiskinan, ini adalah salah satu usaha yang dibuat oleh Pakatan Rakyat kerana kita tak mau sesiapa terpinggir daripada pembangunan ekonomi. Tapi yang masalahnya berlaku adalah ia digunakan oleh pemimpin-pemimpin Barisan Nasional dan UMNO untuk membuat mereka jadi sangat kaya. Dan oleh kerana rasuah, ini sekali lagi kita balik kepada rasuah, sangat teruk. Sampai kita anggarkan 100 bilion ringgit telah hilang kerana rasuah. Dan ini yang kita harus hapuskan. Kalau kita tak hapuskan rasuah, saya rasa rakyat akan rugi, orang miskin tetap miskin, yang kaya lagi kaya. So di sini kita pada masa yang sama, kita mesti juga membina modal insan. We must stress on excellence. Do not think that the Malays cannot be good. The Malays can be good. It is the policies of Barisan Nasional that does not allow the people of Malaysia to excel. I've said this many times. It is also discrimination for UMNO to keep on telling the Malays that they can never excel just because they are Malays. They say that so that everyone can depend on UMNO. I think this is wrong. We must all prosper together. We must all excel together. Malaysia hanya boleh maju kalau kita dapat membentuk kecemerlangan untuk semua rakyat. Di Pulau Pinang kita telah buktikan kontraktor Melayu boleh berdaya saing. Mengapa tidak di seluruh Malaysia? Kontraktor Barisan Nasional yang jahat, mereka mesti dihapuskan. Sekian.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Minister says DAP is multiracial. But every time he says something, he say, why Chinese cannot get scholarship? If you are multiracial, don't just talk about Chinese, talk about all Malaysian. When you talk about the new economic policy, there is no denying that we have succeeded in reducing poverty in this country, irrespective of race, from 50% to 3.5%. It's a question of restructuring of society so that no community or ethnic race is identified with economic activities. We have also achieved certain success. No non-Malays dare to say that all of us have not benefited from the new economic policy. We have to be fair. But along the way, I agree, it has been hijacked. That I agree. But knowing the problem is one thing. And that's the reason why Dato Sri Najib says the implementation of policy should be based on needs and merits. And the socially disadvantaged and the economically disadvantaged should be given help. Let's be fair. You don't expect the people in Sarawak, the native in Sabah, to compete with people in the Klang Valley. No way they can compete. That's the reason why we need to extend a help to them. That is what we call a Barisan National policy of equity for all races. As to corruption, corruption cannot just depend on the government. It needs the society's help. And the government have improved the Whistleblowing Act, the Integrity Pact, that you must be part of the Integrity Pact if you want to tender for certain projects. And then you have the Corruption Court. Then you have the net to shame all those people. But the question is, why in some Pakatan Raya there are cases of corruption? Why are they swept under the carpet? Why is the 1 billion land scandal in Selangor DAP is so quiet? In English, there's a saying, those who laugh first may laugh last. 好戏还在后头.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the first round of questions from the panelists. I'd like to thank the panelists for posing the questions to the two debaters. We'll now move on to the third and final round of questions, and that is the questions from the floor. We've got a box of questions here from the floor. I would now like to ask the Chief Minister to pick the first question from here to be answered firstly by the NCA President and then by yourself. Second question, NCA President will pick the question, you will answer, and then you will answer. Right, so we'll move on to this round of questions. Chief Minister to pick the question. I will read this question, and this will be answered firstly by NCA President and then by the Chief Minister. If Pakatan Raya PR comes into power, will it ensure that it will build more Chinese independent schools, as mentioned in recent statements made by the DAP leader? But this is Pakatan NCA answer this.
If you look at buku jingle on education and mother tongue education, I'm very sorry, I have to apologize to all of you. It's very general motherhood statement. I only wish DAP could be more specific, as when they see a Chinese crowd. Why is it not written clearly that they will build more Chinese schools? Why is it not written clearly that you will build independent schools? Why is it that you have not written clearly that you will recognize UEC? No, it is not inside. It is just very general motherhood statement. In fact, I openly asked Anwar, the supremo of DAP. I asked him, if they are in power, please Anwar, today I'm talking so loud, I'm sure you hear me. Can you answer us? Are you going to build more Chinese schools? More independent schools and recognize UEC? Please tell me. Because if it is from DAP, I don't trust. Why? DAP will say this is not the common policy framework. And when it's not the common policy framework, they don't have to do. Wow, this they call so simple, they just siam only.
Chief Minister.
DAP tak pernah elak.
Order please.
DAP tak pernah elak. Oleh kerana DAP tak pernah elak, pemimpin-pemimpin kita selalu masuk penjara.
Order please, order.
Bukan macam pemimpin MCA yang masuk penjara juga, tetapi kerana tipu wang rakyat. When you talk about building of schools, judged by the deeds of the PR governments in Selangor, in Penang, we have given land, we have given funding every year. If Pakatan Raya state governments can give funding every year to Chinese schools, Tamil schools, sekolah kampung rakyat, independent Chinese schools, why is it Barisan Nasional cannot do so? So don't question our openness to allow independent Chinese schools or Chinese schools to be built where there's a need, because we have proven our words with action. Unlike Barisan Nasional, no words, no action. 敢怒不敢怒也不敢言啊。Dato Sri Anwar, I think again I cannot blame Chua Soi Lek because I think probably he gets his information about Bukit Jingga from Dato Chua Chee Hong. They all probably read some different document. I don't know what document. Maybe next time I should send it in videotape to you so you can see clearly. When you talk about Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim, he is going to be the Prime Minister if Pakatan Rakyat wins power. Don't go and twist and turn that says Hadi says otherwise. No. Hadi, Anwar and also Kit Siang, all of us has agreed that Dato Sri Anwar will be the Prime Minister if Pakatan wins power. If you rely on Barisan National media, we all know lah. Barisan National media cannot trust on all bluff one. Even I sue utusan Malaysia, I not won once. Saya menang 2 kali habis-habis. Ini utusan Malaysia punya media. Semua tipu orang. Kaki fitnah nombor 1 negara. Kita tak akan takut sama UMNO. Kita tak takut sama UMNO kerana kita tak takut sama fitnah. Kita berani kerana benar. Bukan macam NCA. Takut. Kerana mereka takut kedudukan mereka sebagai menteri akan kena sapu habis.
Thank you. I will now call upon the NCA President to draw the next question to be answered first by the Chief Minister and then by yourself. The next question. What is your national education policy for all races to generate a competent citizen of Malaysia? Chief Minister.
Thank you very much, Tan Sri Makayu. We can not ignore the fact that human talent will be the future of our country. And it's not a question of building human talent, but also retaining human talent. I find it very sad that since Merdeka, 2 million Malaysians have left the country. 2 million Malaysians have left the country because they see no future for themselves and see no future for Malaysia. They see no future for Malaysia because they see they don't have freedom, they don't have integrity, and they don't have justice. That is why we are fighting for freedom, we are fighting for democracy, we are fighting for integrity, we are fighting for justice. To fight corruption is not hard. It only depends on whether you got the political will or not. We don't have any laws in Penang, yet I am proud to say that we have wiped out corruption in Penang. And we hope that if we win power in Malaysia, we will do the same in Malaysia. That is why so many people are afraid. So many people are using every tactic to sabotage us, including a smear campaign, spreading lies against Pakatan Rakyat leaders, because they are afraid that when we win power, these corrupt cronies will be wiped out for the country, which we need to wipe out for the future of our children. We need to build universities that are excellent, and that is why we must restore standards in universities. And here we make the suggestion, we must improve the standard of English. Let us make English a compulsory subject that you must pass for SPM, so that you can upgrade and improve the standard of English amongst Malaysians. Does Barisan Nasional dare to take up this offer or not? We hope that when you have that creativity and innovation, that freedom for people to fulfill their potential, I'm sure we can build productive and creative talents for the country. Because if you don't give them freedom, they will only leave Malaysia freely. That is where we have to stop them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, President.
Thank you, Councillor. You see, when people are educated or talented, they have what we call economic independence and social mobility, and they tend to move. And Malaysia is not the only country that faces brain drain. Almost all developing countries faces this problem. Number one, this is no justification. That's why I say when we say that we train 200,000 talented people, your CM say it is shame on us for training 200,000 people. You look at the country's meritocracy policy. The number of non-Malays entering tertiary education have gone up. Last year it was 88.6% for Chinese. For Indian, it was 83%. In terms of scholarship, last year JPA, more were given to all races. 20% for the socially and economically disadvantaged group in Sabah and Sarawak. And we support that. Bullshit. This year, everybody with 9A plus will get the government bursary. No race is put into consideration. The talent corp is another good example of reaching out to the rest. So don't just use rhetoric, but nothing specific that we will train talent. And when we train talent, they say, shame on you. Because, why do we take the initiative to train? Because when we do it, because we felt we have a responsibility to complement and help what the government is doing. And when you can't do it,
1 more minute.
Please admit that you don't want to do it or you don't know how to do it. No country in the world can provide and meet the needs of education for all its citizens. No country in the world. I can say that on record. No. That Guan Eng's government is a fake one if he can promise everybody got education. It's a fake. It's a sham, I can tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of even doing our own vocational institute because we believe that we want to train more technical people. So don't just use figure to frighten all of us. The fact that Malaysian can go overseas to work is a recognition that our Malaysian standard is of certain level.
Mr. President,
so our Malaysian doctor go overseas to work as doctors. Not like some country where the doctors come here and work as nurse. Then we got problem.
I'd like to now ask the Chief Minister to draw the third question. This question is to MCA, but I think DAP can also reply to MCA. When the law minister torn you and MCA apart, calling MCA a battered wife, you cowardly kept quiet. If you can't even defend yourself, how can you defend the Rakyat's policies?
Was that a statement from the Prime Minister? You see, we must be fair in statement. When one of your leaders said that the Perak Menteri Besar is a black metallic metal. Remember? Now there are among politicians walking in the corridors of power who sometimes get carried away, and we think that we should rubbish them by not honoring them to reply them. Yes. You dignify them when you reply them. Because, why do I say so? Because he may be a minister of law, but he is not the prime minister that calls the shot. If it comes from the prime minister, and I'm sure the prime minister will not make such utterances. So when one of your leaders says it's a black metallic leader, what did the AP do?
Chief Minister.
I think this is a very strong proof to show that the fact that MCA did not protest when somebody called them a battered wife, that MCA takut UMNO lah. But I do not want to get involved in the fight between MCA and UMNO. I think what we want to discuss is about policies. And when you talk about the changes that they mentioned, we do not deny that there have been changes after 2008. In some of the scholarships, yes, some improvement, marginal improvement. But all this happened because the political tsunami of 2008 that made this possible. Let us be frank. Do you think that if Pakatan had not won 5 states in 2008, would there be 50 million for Chinese schools lah, 100 million for Tamil schools lah? No way! No way whatsoever. It's because the people have spoken, Pakatan Rakyat has spoken, then Barisan National is forced to change. That's why we say these forced changes is not enough. We want to change Barisan National out completely. My learned opponent just now said that we insulted the contributors to TAR College. No, we did not. We said that the establishment of TAR College is an indication of your failure to allow non-Malay students who are qualified to enter universities. That's why you have to set up TAR College as a consolation prize.
Correct.
Order, please.
Order. And you talk about donations. Why did MCA reject 30 million ringgit from Kun Yu Yin? Why did MCA turn down 30 million ringgit from Kun Yu Yin? I think this shows that this is because of political consideration. Don't go and tell me that this is one of your greatest achievements when it is one of your greatest failures. We talk about talent. Do not forget, 2 million Malaysians, the best and the brightest, left the country. Replaced by what? All the unskilled labor from Myanmar, Bangladesh. Are you proud of that, MCA? This is another greatest failure of MCA.
Thank you. I ask MCA President to pick the final question. Final question on the floor. What has Dato Sri Soi Lek achieved in his time as Penang Port Commission Chairman, other than cancelling the much-needed 350 million ringgit dredging of the Penang Port and privatising the port to Tan Sri Syed Mokhtar in order to turn it into a feeder port for Tanjung Pelepas in Johor?
I think, as the Penang Chief Minister, I feel very disappointed in my learned opponent's performance. Why? No performance. Instead of protecting the Penang port for the people of Penang, he has sold out the interests of the people of Penang by supporting the privatization of Penang port to Tan Sri Syed Mokhtar. Penang port belongs to the people of Penang. Why is it that it is not determined by the people of Penang? Is that democracy, Barisan National? Let somebody from outside decide the future and fate of the port. And we feel that when you can sell out the interest of the Penang port, you will also sell out the interest of the people of Penang. How can you allow a main commercial port to be reduced in status to a feeder port? On behalf of the people of Penang, I tell this to my learned opponent. No, no, no. Implement the 353 million ringgit dredging of the port channel so that we can restore the former glories of Penang Port. If you do not know how to do it, never mind. Give it to the Penang state government and we will show you how it can be done. 我人伫平洲讲啊，做互阮看。Up to now, the chairman of the Penang Port Commission did not come to Penang to explain why he wants to reduce Penang Port to be a feeder port. Please show some courage. Come to Penang. Come on Monday night at the Chief Minister's office in Penang, where we have a meeting with all the stakeholders, stevedores, the Penang Port itself, the unions, the logistics people, the respective Chamber of Commerce. Let us have a discussion and you can know from the people of Penang whether they support the privatization, not privatization, the privatization of Penang Port.
Thank you, Chief Minister, Mr. President.
Sometimes it is very difficult to respond to people who know nothing about privatization. Why do I say so? Ask anybody, they will tell you, it is not the business of the government to run business. It is the private sector that will do a better job. And if you look at all the ports in Malaysia, the only port that has not been privatized is Penang Port. All the other ports that have been privatized have done well. Today, the top 20 ports in the world is Port Klang and Tanjung Pelepas. Why do we privatize this port? For the sake of the Penang government, we privatize it. Why do I say so? Because the Penang port has not been performing and not comparable to the regional peer. Its productivity, its efficiency is on the low side. I will give you some figures and if you know, please go and check. 1. Penang Port is the same size as Pasir Gudang Port. It handles about 1 million TEU. Last year, Penang Port made 183,000. Pasir Gudang Port made 185 million. A measure of the productivity of a port. Penang Port, they call it the throughput per employee. If you don't understand, please after this I will explain to you. They call it the throughput employee.
Thank you.
Penang Port is 70,000 FWT. The regional port is 30,000. So this question of Penang Port, the Chief Minister again shows his ignorance. It is like what? He said, oh, Penang Port is a transshipment hub. Are you going to tell me that Penang Airport today, the language is lengthened, we upgrade Penang Port? Are you going to say that Penang Port is an international port like KLIA? It is not just dredging the port that you become a transshipment hub. Penang Port to this day is still a feeder port. You dredge it, you deepen it. The big post-pandemic vessel of 8,000 to 12,000 TEU, which may mean nothing to you, will still not call on Penang Port because it is a feeder port. Just the same way, no international flight from London will come to Penang because it is a regional port. It is not an international port. Understand? So when we increase the efficiency and the productivity of the port in Penang, the Penang trade and investment will go up. So you have to thank us, not blame us for doing it.
Order, please. Order. Can we have some order, please? Order.
MalaysiaKini.com.
Malaysia Kini.
For the Malaysia Kini.